What's up, guys? It's been a while. It's been a good while. Did y'all miss me? I know you did. I miss myself. I miss doing these. Man, when's the last time I did this? It's definitely been over a month. Maybe close to 2 months. It's probably a month and a half since the last time I did a vlog type thing. Can you hear that in the back? Can you hear? I'm listening to the new Metallica album right now. Hold on. I just got it in the mail. You see, I fucking pre-ordered it, and so it was supposed to come the day that it came out, November 18th, but because I pre-ordered it kind of late, I pre-ordered it like the day before, maybe a few hours before midnight, and yet I still expected it to come on the 18th, but it didn't. It came today, and now, I got the fucking deluxe version. You know what I'm saying? 3 CDs, booklet with all the lyrics and shit. It's a great album. They haven't released a bad album. I don't give a fuck what anyone tells you. There's mad haters on Metallica, but that's only because they're huge. They're fucking huge. The bigger you are, the more people are gonna hate. So everyone's got some shit to say about Metallica, but let me tell you, they have never fucking made a bad album. I don't give a fuck whether you liked Saint Anger, or whether you didn't think Load or Reload was metal, or you wanted them to play fucking Kill 'Em All for fucking 50 years and not change their sound at all. Fuck you. Metallica's the shit. Anyway, that has nothing to do with what I want to talk to you guys about right now. So the last video I did, I was talking about you know, the business aspect of the music industry, diving into the digital age and how to deal with that as an independent artist. And what I was really talking about a lot was before you could do any of this, before you could do your own marketing, your own advertising, and finding your own community and culture, you need to know your microniche. And if you don't remember what that is, or you haven't seen the video, it's on YouTube, so I would check it out. But if you haven't seen it, Microniche is basically a super fucking targeted and small subgenre within a subgenre within an umbrella genre. And we spent forever trying to figure that out. And there were times where we thought we were close, and then I dove in a little deeper, and I realized that we weren't. That wasn't what we were, and that was part of it, but there was more to it than that, so I had to dive in even deeper. And let me tell you, I have never analyzed myself or my music or Dave and my brother and their influences, and I have never analyzed anything this much in my life. It's interesting. I learned a lot about myself, just how music throughout my life has affected what I do now, pretty much, what I play now. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed. Some of you might have noticed, but if you haven't noticed, we changed a lot of information on our connectivity websites, our social media, you know, mostly Facebook and Instagram. We switched up. There's some YouTube stuff we switched up too, that I switched up, you know. And if you've been paying attention, we changed the definition of the genre of music we've been playing twice already, but I think what we have now is going to definitely be what we are, because it as soon as it hit me, man, it hit me like a fucking brick wall, and I was like, wow, how did I not see that coming, or how did I not notice this before? And it's so obvious to me. So now what we identify with is progressive hard rock / alternative metal. And if you're wondering why, you must have been born without fucking ears. No, I'm just playing. I'm totally just playing. I will explain to you why. Oh, Adrian is an asshole. Nah, I'm just playing. I will explain to you how we got to that, though. Man, it was a lot of research. Not only research on ourselves and all of our influences and where we've come from and where we're going, but research into just other musicians, other bands, and just learning the history of genres and music in general. And it is a lot of work. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, I feel it in my heart, I really do, that I found the right niche. That this is exactly what we are, and this is exactly where we're going, and it's the perfect definition, and I'm 100%, I feel it in my heart, I know it's the right thing. And let me explain to you why that is. God damn, this album is fucking gangsta, yo. God damn. Ah, fuck, where was I? What the fuck was I talking about? Fuck. Metallica distracted me. I mean, I had to take a lot of things into consideration. I had to consider where we were, where we are now, and where we're going. And once I realized that I had to take into account where we are now and where we are going naturally and where we want to go. And those are two for us, those are two of the same thing. Where we want to go and where we are naturally heading towards, you know, without even trying, are pretty much the same thing for us. And what I realized, once I took all the past, present, and future into consideration, I realized how completely fucking progressive we are. Like, for real. Our songs are getting more progressive. They're getting more sophisticated. There's more going on in the arrangements. You know, it's not a simple fucking just straight up rock and roll anymore. It's not. And I began to see patterns of that. I realized that. You know, because as we progress as a band and as individuals, as people, and as I progress as a songwriter, I like to up the ante a little. You know, I get bored of myself. I'm probably my biggest critic. So if something doesn't impress me anymore, I need to impress myself again. So I'll up the ante, and I do that with everything when it comes to songwriting, my personal life, my everything, my guitar skills, my singing. I constantly need to up the ante because I get bored, I get unimpressed with myself. And realizing that, I've realized that we are heading in a direction of completely progressive. Where, like, we are a fucking progressive band. And you could see there's totally, evidence of this occurring even early on in our career, in our musical career, in terms of, like, you know, our songwriting and shit like that. There's early evidence of it, you know what I'm saying? Even in that first EP, those rough edge demos that we did with our boy Andy up in White Plains, you know, back in like 2013, 2013. The end of like 2012 into 2013. Those songs, even as amateur as they were, because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, you could see there's a progressive element in there. As much as I wanted to just pass us off as a rock and roll band for years, there's a progressive element there, and there's a metal element there. So after analyzing our past, present, and our future, it became so obvious to me that we were heading in a progressive direction, and we always been sort of a progressive band, but more along the lines of like Big Wreck. So we're not like fucking Dream Theater progressive, even though, you know, Dream Theater does have some more laid back songs in terms of length and arrangements. You know, they got some 4.5-minute songs, but they're pretty much like a fucking 15-minute song average band. And that's not quite the progressive area we're coming from. We're more along the lines of like the band Big Wreck, which is they're considered a neo-progressive and hard rock band. Great band. Most people don't know about them. Totally check them out. Oh my god, Ian Thornley is a fucking genius. Every single member of the band is phenomenal, and they all went to like music school together in Canada. They're a Canadian rock band. And they should fucking be famous as fuck, but whatever, I'm getting off track. Maybe I'm speaking more on a personal level. This whole year, I've become fucking obsessed with Mikael Åkerfeldt and Opeth and Fredrik Åkesson and all of them. I mean, they've had a few lineup changes with drummers and shit, but man, Mikael Åkerfeldt is a fucking genius, and I'm very much influenced by Opeth, and it's influencing my songwriting as well. You know, all of a sudden I learn an Opeth song, a full Opeth song, and then then the next song I write is not like Opeth, but it's in that progressive vein where there's it's a sophisticated arrangement. You know, there's multiple parts. It's not just fucking 3 chords, a chorus, a bridge, and then the verse again, and then, you know what I'm saying? That no longer inspires me. It doesn't. I see the direction we're going in. So we're sort of a unique combination of that band Big Wreck, Opeth, and I'm not talking about the death metal side of Opeth, you know what I'm saying? Opeth has a lot of layers to it. They're a very incredible band that can almost do anything that they fucking want to do, you know? And I just think Mikhail Ackerfeld's a genius, and he's one of my biggest inspirations nowadays when it comes to songwriting. If we stuck with something that was more simplistic, it would box us in. We're still a relatively new band, and this is exactly the point in time where we should be analyzing ourselves and redefining ourselves. And in a way, it's almost like we're not even redefining ourselves. We're not, because this has been the direction we've always been going in. It's just now that I've done the research and I've taken the time and put the time into it, I can now put a name to it. And we are very much a progressive band, and as time goes on, we're going to get even more sophisticated and progressive. But that soul is still there, you know. I still want to be Ray Charles. I still write jazzy things, but that's also part of the progressive area, because progressive rock is pretty much anything goes, and there's heavy jazz influence, there's heavy blues influence, there's heavy classical influence, and, you know, in my last video, you heard me talk about how I started off with classical guitar, you know, and how I love jazz and how I love blues, and so look how obvious it is that we're a fucking progressive band. It's so fucking obvious, and yet it took all this time for me to figure it out. So if you guys have been looking at our social media, and you've seen it, that we've changed some information on the genre of music we've been playing and things like that, it's only because I've become more aware of what we were, what we are, and where we're going. It's just being self-aware, pretty much, and being able to anticipate the future. And I see it like a vision. So it's not that we're switching shit up, or that we're trying to push away old fans to get new fans. It's not none of that. It's completely self-aware. It's being self-aware, and that doesn't change anything, really. Nothing changes. This is the exact direction we've been going in forever. Nothing's changing, except now we have a fucking name for it, and we defined it. And hopefully you could get on board for that. But if not, you could just fucking unlike our page, and don't worry, we'll find more fans out there. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily need you, but I would like for you to stay on board, because if you liked anything we've done before, then you'll definitely like what we're doing now. It's all good music, and I like to think that Grimshaw crosses borders, as unique as we are, and as hard and heavy as we could be. I think anyone could like Grimshaw. We're just fucking a good band, and we just write good music. Whether it's progressive, whether it's alternative metal, whatever. Ooh, that's another thing. I've been talking a lot about the progressive side, which is so completely obvious, but now let me talk about that / alternative metal side. Hard rock and alternative metal are so close together. They're pretty much hand in hand. In fact, there's large groups of people that consider alternative metal as just a portion of hard rock, or just another type of rock music, even though it's called alternative metal and not alternative rock, because that's something else completely. But large groups of people consider alternative metal just another portion of hard rock. And those two subgenres at least, are pretty much hand in hand. So while one group of people can consider a band to be hard rock, another group can consider the same band to be alternative metal. And I think one of the most perfect examples of that is the band Living Colour. Great band. Completely overlooked band. I don't know why. They're fucking amazing. Every album they put out is amazing. They're great musicians. They're just a great band. Very socially aware. Great lyrics. Great socially aware lyrics. A lot of emotion behind everything they do. They're just a great band. But that's not the point. The point is, many groups of people consider them hard rock, and even Corey Glover, the lead singer, has been like, yeah, we're a hard rock band. But large groups of people also consider them alternative metal. But just because each group of people considers the band to be something else doesn't mean that they don't also consider it to be another thing. Does that sound confusing? That wasn't the best grammar. So what I mean is, while groups of people can look at Living Colour and be like, that's a hard rock band, the same groups of people can, you could give them a rationalization for why they also are an alternative metal band, and they can agree with that, because alternative metal and hard rock are so fucking hand in hand that it's almost like they're the fucking same thing, almost. But what categorizes alternative metal and makes it, as you know, the slight difference from hard rock is because alternative metal is basically heavy music that takes its influences from unorthodox and not really typical places that most metal genres will take from. But it's still categorized as a genre of rock music. It's very interesting. So another alternative metal band, or that's widely considered alternative metal, and let's forget the whole grunge thing, okay, the Seattle scene thing, and I'm not saying that's not valid, because a lot of people do believe it's valid, but it's also something created by companies to sell, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, these all are things created, these names are pretty much all things created by companies to sell, but there's something a little less, it's something a little more grimy about the whole grunge thing, you know what I'm saying? Because whether or not, as long as you came out of that Seattle scene, you were fucking labeled grunge. Whether or not you fit in with that or not, they didn't give a fuck. They just wanted to sell. So there's something a little more grimy about that to me, which is why I don't like the term grunge. But now I'm getting off topic, because the real topic here is Alice in Chains being considered an alternative metal band, and that's 100% true. There's also more going on there with all these bands. There's more than one genre going on there, at least for good bands, influensive bands and innovative bands. But Alice in Chains is 100% widely believed to be an alternative metal. And Jerry Cantrell is, you know, he's got a lot of things going on in his playing, but there's definitely a metal side, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily metal. And it's because of these qualities in bands that are considered alternative metal that I realize how much we also, Grimshaw, can be considered alternative metal. And I thought it was important to recognize each of those separate entities, because we're both a progressive hard rock band and an alternative metal band, and you can't take either one of those away from us, because it's very much true. And I know this because I've done the research, and as much throughout the years, I did not want to be called a metal band. And I think this because metal is so huge and everyone is a fucking metal band, that I wanted to gravitate away from that. And it's not that we are technically a metal band, but we are fucking... Alternative metal is a form of heavy music. It's just a form of heavy music. It's not necessarily metal. You know what I'm saying? But it can be. But it can also just be a hard rock band that is very heavy, and now, you know, can also be considered alternative metal. And you know, and I wanted to embrace the fact that we are fucking heavy, and that we can get hard, and we're dark, and that comes from the alternative metal side, you know, us wanting to emulate Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and things like that, and then even straight up metal bands that we love. I fucking love Metallica. We fucking all love Metallica. Opeth has death metal influences in there, like fuck. So we do have a lot of metal influences, but I didn't want to. There's more going on there than that. So I think it was very important to identify the fact that we are very heavy. We can get very heavy, which is the alternative metal side. But then all the jazz and the weird arrangements and the lengths and the songwriting sophistication comes from the progressive hard rock side. So I wanted to identify each of those things. And let me tell you, I've had a way better time with that in terms of data mining and finding the right audience. That's not why I chose the microniche. I didn't choose the microniche, it chose us. Whether or not we chose to identify this or not, we would have been heading in that direction no matter what, because we've been heading in that direction all our lives. It's just now I identified it for more of a business reason, but either way, it's 100% true. So this is where we are. Grimshaw is a progressive hard rock band / alternative metal. And hopefully you can get behind that. If not, see you at the door, because there's millions of other people out there that will like our music, because it's fucking good music. Let me tell you, we're fucking real musicians. I'm a real songwriter. We're real artists. These are real songs. We're living this shit. And anyone should be able to get behind that shit. And it's just good stuff. So that's where we are right now. That's what I've been doing. And I finally found it. This is what it's gonna be. And that's that, you know what I'm saying? And now I got a million other things to do. This was supposed to be a quick video. I thought maybe I should write an article about it, but I thought this would be faster. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you about. Now, I'm fucking hungry. And this album is kicking my ass, bro. It must be making me hungry. I'm burning calories listening to this album because it's just fucking beating my brain. It's amazing. So I'm fucking hungry. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Y'all, stay tuned. Enjoy your Thanksgiving with your families. Enjoy your dinner. Now, I'm gonna go eat dinner with mine. Peace out, motherfuckers.